I imagine if Jesus were alive today, he would ride in the Pride Parade on a donkey, Palm Sunday style. As I wave my rainbow flag like a palm branch, Jesus would take my hand and walk with me. I imagine if Jesus were alive today, he would be very confused with us. He would question the reason behind the ongoing wars and why the fight for equality has not been won yet. He would be angry and sad because equality and freedom are two of Jesus' most important teachings. I imagine if Jesus were alive today, he would be proud of the churches who have welcomed and accepted LGBTQ folk. He would smile from ear to ear when I tell him that I'm going to be a minister one day. There's so many things that I would love to tell Jesus, but I'm going to tell you instead. Queer, religious, 2 words that describe me. I am proud of these words, but I'm not proud of the assumptions that come with these words. I do not look like a stereotypical minister. I do not look like a stereotypical lesbian. I believe that some of these assumptions stem from the so-called ability of being able to determine someone's sexuality, the gaydar. I would explain to Jesus that part of the gaydar is seeing someone who doesn't fit traditional gender norms and assuming their gender and sexuality based on their personal style. It's important to remember that the gaydar is used by everyone, and that the way you choose to express yourself does not determine your sexuality. We all express ourselves in different ways, whether it be through the clothes you wear, the way you choose to style your hair, or the choice of having body art. By using the gaydar and labeling people, we solidify the stereotype that the way you dress and choose to express yourself determines your sexuality. Take me, for instance. I may not look like a stereotypical lesbian, but what does a stereotypical lesbian even look like? These old stereotypes continue to exist today. And so, I'll be honest with you. I do fit a few of the stereotypes that would set off people's gaydar. But there's one stereotype in particular that I do not fit in with. I frickin' love Jesus. As many as 31.5% of the world's population are Christian. Approximately 10% of the world's population are queer or trans. While I'm not that mathematically inclined, I know enough about statistics and probability to make the assumption that within that 31.5% of Christians, that a percentage of them likely identify within the LGBTQ community. It's also fair to say that there is likely a percentage of Muslims, Jews, Hindus, and other religions that also identify within the LGBTQ community. I am part of both the Christian and the queer community, but coming to terms with that was conflicting. I was left wondering how I was going to schedule what days I would embrace my sexuality and what days I would embrace Jesus. I realized how exhausting this was the first Sunday that I took my partner to church with me. When the service was over, we went out to my car. I looked at Dani and just relaxed. By embracing my religion and sexuality, it felt like the weight of the world had been lifted off my shoulders. If we could get through that first Sunday, then we could get through them all. Jesus believed us all to be equal, And I realized this when I came out, and he did not turn away from me. So in order to resolve this internal conflict, I learned to do 3 things. Number 1, I learned to look at context, to understand what was happening at the time of an event. Context is key to understanding and interpreting the Bible, because the way the Bible is interpreted today is very different than how it was interpreted back in biblical times. Looking at context means understanding the word homosexuality was only added to the Bible in 1946. So this idea of homosexuality in the Bible has only been added in your grandparents' lifetime. Number 2, I learned to figure out what I believe. I believe that Jesus was the Messiah. I also believe that Jesus was a radical, nonviolent revolutionary who hung around with lepers, hookers, and crooks. He did not speak English, nor was he white. He was anti-wealth, anti-death penalty, but he was never anti-LGBTQ. Jesus was a long-haired, brown-skinned, homeless, community organizing, anti-slut-shaming, Middle Eastern Jew. And he loves me. Number 3, I learned to make my beliefs work for me. Part of accepting who I am as religious, queer, and all of the other parts that make up my identity meant molding my beliefs and my faith around me and my life. It means walking into church every Sunday, hand in hand with my partner, and being proud of it. Now, learning to do these 3 things wasn't easy. Through looking at context, figuring out what I believe, and making my beliefs work for me, I realized that nothing will hold me back from embracing my true identity, even though it means reevaluating everything that I have been taught about the Bible and Jesus. I've come to realize that not everyone will accept me as a queer minister, and some days, even I don't accept it myself. But by asking awkward questions about my religion and sexuality, I am one step closer to embracing my true identity. See, I always knew that I wanted to be a minister. And I always knew that I was queer. But trying to fit those 2 things together was difficult. Traditionally, ministers have been straight folk. Consequently, I had very little exposure to queer or trans ministers. And in order to navigate this awkward path and these awkward questions, I needed a role model, but there wasn't any around. Only when I began traveling did I find these role models. I traveled all the way from British Columbia to Newfoundland with 14 other individuals from the United Church of Canada. We traveled to Newfoundland for a national meeting that occurs every 3 years. In every province that we went to, I began to realize something. There's actually an abundance of queer ministers, people that I aspire to be like. These individuals became my role models. They showed me that I could embrace Jesus, embrace my sexuality, and thrive. Now, that didn't come without me questioning everything. I questioned if I really wanted to be a minister. I questioned why the Holy Spirit wanted me, of all people. And I questioned what would happen if I failed. I've come to realize that I love who I am, and I already love who I'm going to become. And as long as Jesus continues to walk with me, and as long as I continue to ask those awkward questions, then I have all I need in life. So I'm going to leave you with one final thought. Always remember that Jesus had 2 dads and turned out perfectly fine. Thank you.